because unfortunately, I'm not in a position to make commentary on so-called hypnotic powers, on the fact that the Umbase people, immediately they take their oath. If you shoot them, they will be, they will not be affected by bullets. We've had that stories before, since the time of Metasene in 1981. So Metasene is something like this, and they also.
And that was the story with Metasene then, truly.
They also demolished the police. They had to draft in the army to conquer, in quote, them and bring peace to Kano at that time, because I was one of those who went to give expert evidence before Justice Agolu's commission of inquiry into the matter. Now, with such spiritual powers, how come the man was eventually killed and his people scattered? So I'm not saying, I'm not in a position to say they have spiritual powers or they don't have. I'm not in a position to say whether they can hypnotize Suleiman.
It might not be far-fetched.
No. I will not say.
No, people. We really cannot ignore people saying that. So that's why I'm bringing it. I know you're not in a position to say.
And I'm not ignoring it either. But it cannot be the basis of social scientific analysis and understanding. The way I understand it is that there are disagreements in that area, which cannot be put at anybody's door, but can be put at the door of the analysis I've made. Why is it that groups are not willing to consider their governments, the state, credible enough to be a fair and just arbiter of their disagreement?
Like, Prof, look at this headline. Sorry, I know we really have to go for the news. It says, Al-Makra signed single term with us, Agon activist. Perhaps I think it's almost tilting towards what you're talking about, groups.
Okay. Now, do you want to go to your news or you want me to respond to that?
Well,
in 2 minutes, we'll go to the news.
Okay.
We'll quickly respond.
Okay. Now, is this the first time you have that situation? Obasanjo allegedly signed agreement that he will spend one time. And from rumors, he was even going for a third. President Jonathan allegedly had an understanding of one time. So, that is not new to the Nigerian political class. In fact, that is part of the problem, and it is not fair or just to hold any particular administration responsible for our misfortune today. It's something, if you listen to if you understood my analysis, it is something that has been going. And those of us social scientists in this area of knowledge, we have been writing papers, policy positions since the 70s and 80s, warning that criminality in Nigeria was going to increase in quantity and quality and seriousness. The new patterns will emerge, and new patterns have emerged. The first pattern after armed robbery, then you started hearing about assassinations, ritual killings, kidnappings, ransom. Then you have the Niger Delta insurgency situation. Okay, government is eventually has bribed its way, and the what they call amnesty program is a kind of quieting the vocal population in that area with naira. But whatever it is, the place is quiet. But all over is it Delta? Is it Benue? The only state that seems to be free from this wahala is the Southwest. That doesn't mean I have no problems there, but the Southwest is really free, and then 1 or 2 states in the Northwest, okay, and then in the Southeast. So, when you are focusing on Alakio, you have better understanding by putting it in context. The people, don't people, they understand they are they are one of the 3 largest groups. They are not overly Christian, overly Muslim. If anything, they are overly traditional. And by the constitution of the country, people are allowed to practice any religion they want. But your freedom to practice your religion is supposed to be, that freedom starts where the nose of other people begin. And this group has apparently quarreled with about 7 other groups, being itinerant farmers, going from place to place, and fighting over land.
We'll be back and wrap this up. Let's go for lots of comments coming through. Supporting the declaration of the state of emergency in those states. And let's get this. King Solomon King says, Prof, look, 30 rounds in AK-47 and no shot fired. Don't forget we're Africans. And he says, look, for that unbattered situation, there's more than meets the eye.
maintain my position because we are Africans. The policemen, the SS men, and the others that went there, they're also Africans. So if those people are spiritual force, these people also perhaps should maybe you want to put in their training curriculum how to acquire spiritual forces to deal with this kind of situation. But now, on a serious note, you cannot make policy. You cannot consider policy on the basis of this kind of allegation that the people actually have hypnotic powers and they must have influenced the situation. Before I actually dote on this particular one, remember in this country, they said that, let me start from the case of Ibrahim Babangida, that he had a lot of consultants, marabouts, for him to continue to power. But he had to leave. Abiola won the election, and he had marabouts and Christians and everybody praying for him, but he never got there. Abacha, what did he not do to stay there spiritually, according to what people say? Importing marabouts from Mauritania, from Mali, from Senegal. But did he stay? So these hypnotic powers, these powers of I don't want to say satanic powers, but whatever you want to call it, I would rather, as a social scientist, concentrate on what we could see, we could observe, and therefore make policy. And like I pointed out,
something missing, Prof. I mean, if I could use that word, because now you ask that, how come? Because I mean, execution of those policies lies with the police. Now, what about the question of capacity? Because we expect that they would have put on their best strategy for the apprehension. What if that was their best strategy?
But that is okay. You remember I was talking about operational. That is the second level. Policy, strategy, basic preventive strategy to prevent crime, to prevent situation of insecurity, etc. The problem arose over a long period of time, and therefore it cannot be solved in the immediate term. That aspect of it, in other words, getting development to make people believe they are stakeholders. So as of this point, the concern is the operational mode, and the highest of the operational mode is President Jonathan's declaration of state of emergency, bringing it down to the level when the political leader, like the Security Council of Nasarawa State, gave the directive, go and arrest this man. The execution of this is consequent upon the preparedness and the capability of the security forces. And I ask you a question, which I think people should actually dwell more. Of course, don't get me wrong, I condole sincerely with the families of the security, the police and security agencies that lost their sons and daughters. I condole with everybody who has suffered this problem in Nigeria. The question is, to avoid this kind of thing in future, certain questions must be raised. How prepared were they? Perhaps the state government took a decision for the arrest on the basis of intelligence report. There is a matter of gathering intelligence, actionable intelligence, and what do you do with the intelligence report? Now, there is a question that when you get it and you are going to arrest, I would say, for example, I don't think it's the governor that told them or the president, go with 12 vehicles. It led to the commissioner of police or whoever to say, now why do you need 12 vehicles to go and effect an arrest of one person? Perhaps underground, you could have done some things and even kidnap the man. I'm just saying, I'm not suggesting that kidnapping should be
they know how best to have carried out their
but you should raise questions about it.
Oh, yes, because
you have to raise questions of, are you effective? Are you efficient? If you are, good. If you are not, why not? We must raise that question so that it will not occur.
Quickly, what should the state be doing now? Quickly.
What?
The state, for instance, Nasarawa we just highlighted. What should they do now since they have an idea of where these people reside?
The first thing they should do is to cater to the families of those who have been killed or victimized. I always believe that the federal government should always do that. I mean, like the post-2011 election violence that we investigated for them. it's only almost 2 years later that they are compensating the victims. So I would think the immediate thing, I'm not talking about them and their blankets. I'm talking about caring, real welfare for those families. That's what they will do immediately. Now, in terms of pertaining, if you watch your program, was it this morning or last night? The Ombase people, the Edo people rather, they came out to disclaim responsibility. And then they challenged the government to set up a kind of holistic commission of inquiry. You see, people are already posturing. So I'm answering the question, but the government should get its forces, the army, if need be, even though there's danger in that, to actually effect the arrest of the person they wanted to arrest. Not just carry about 10 people and 25 people,
assuming he's not been arrested.
Harmless people. No, yes, because I have no information that he's been arrested.
Okay.
Harmless people, youths and the like, and parading there on the street to give the impression that you are succeeding. Actually, you should, to enforce your authority as a state. I don't mean state government, meaning the state of Nigeria. You must ensure the effectuation of the arrest of the person you wanted to arrest before, and follow due process in doing so.
Okay. Professor Femi Odekunle is a criminologist. Thank you for coming on today. All right, I will be back in just a moment here, so please join us again. I took a party and come to MTN. To my joy before we let you know that's about you. The number where you there use now and before carry the vote, yeah. I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to
You too can switch to MTN and still retain your number from other networks. Walk into any MTN authorized outlet and send the word port to 3232.
MTN, everywhere you go.
We need to really do a rethink and take away sentiments. We need to work closely with the security agencies so that they can restore law and order. Mark you, I am saying the security agencies can only restore law and order. They cannot restore peace. Peace is the resolve of those who have grudges against one another to sit down, discuss the issues, and resolve them in the best way possible. And with this, it makes it clear that all of us have a duty and a responsibility to work with the security agencies to restore law and order all over the country. And then we can sit back and discuss the issues